all of you beautiful people around the world. I hope you are doing well. You guys know who it is. It's Ryan, and you guys are watching Some For All, a place where you guys can watch some My Hero Academia CCG videos for all of you amazing people around the world. Now look, today we're talking about Shinso. Shinso was finally revealed. Shinso is a lot of people's favorite characters, or not maybe their number one favorite, but in their top characters that they like. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, Shinso, I've never really been a fan, especially this version of Shinso when we first see him in Season 2. I never really liked him. I don't know, I don't like his aesthetic, don't like his personality, but that's just me, right? Going off of how he was in the show. He does get a little bit more character progression, and because of that, without even like talking about the card, I already feel like I'd be more excited for Shinso 2 rather than the Shinso 1, just because Shinso 2 is probably going to be the one after he's done training with Eraserhead. So, I mean, there's that. That's when he's a little bit more cooler and he has a little bit more progression, but for now, this version is kind of But with that being said, let's talk about the actual card that we have in front of us. Okay, so Shinso, 7-hander, 19 life. So this is a guy that, you know, is a little bit squishy, but I'm assuming he'll be able to put out the hurt. I'm assuming people are probably going to try to play him a little bit more of an aggro style, but you never know in this game. People are always going to cook up some new technology. So we'll see what people do with him. But he has two abilities, so his first form. So when you start your turn, you can go ahead and play this ability. Name an attack zone, a high, mid, or low. Attacks that match this named zone get +2 speed for the rest of the combat phase. Now, this is interesting. I read this and I was like, okay, like how could this be good? Then I looked at his symbols and I'm like, okay, I can see the potential. Again, I'm not the best player. I'm a new player to this game. I only started playing Universes when the My Hero Academia cards came out. So, again, don't give me too much shit if I'm completely missing something. But this ability seemed rather lackluster to me. I mean, yeah, of course, your opponent can't really interact with it because it's a form and you're playing it right away as soon as you start your turn or whatever, that's fine. But I was just thinking, I'm like, if we go to enhanced steps and I'm playing Aizawa, I can also give all my stuff +2 speed if I have a race in my hand, right? I can also give my opponent -2 speed, and it doesn't matter what zone it is. So I was just thinking about that. And I'm like, does having this as a form, it being a first form rather than it being an enhanced ability, does that make it that much better when you can only declare one type of zone? Now, of course, obviously you know what cards you have in your hand, you're going to know how you want to play your chain, your combo, and then depending on that, you're going to call whatever zone. But still, I don't know, it just seems a little lackluster. But that's just me. Maybe I'm missing something glaring that's like really, really good that will allow him to have really good potential. You guys can let me know. Now, his response is where he gets interesting and why it is a good homage to his character. So once per turn, after your rival attacks resolve, reveal one random card in their hand, and they must play that card as their next form or discard it. Now, this is interesting and this is fun because we know Shinso has the ability of brainwashing. That is his quirk. And because of that, this fits his effect really well. His quirk activates when they fall for his trap, when they react to what he is saying. They react to they give off an action, right? They respond. If he says something, they respond back. Boom. You're brainwashed. Now you can do whatever I say. So in this sense, instead of having to speak, your opponent attacks. So your opponent goes for an attack, and then guess what happens? You get to go ahead, pick a random card out of their hand. Boom. You must play this card right now as your next form. If you don't, go ahead and drop it from your hand. Now, again, it's an interesting ability. How good will it be? We'll have to see, because you could easily just pick something that your opponent was going to play anyway. But then it's also pretty interesting because, like, what if you pick a foundation after they pick an attack and then they have to build forms and stuff like that, or like continue to play forms, continue to play foundations. So I don't know. It's interesting. Nothing to write home about. Nothing to really get me excited. Am I excited for Shinso? You might think I'm biased because I don't like the character in the show anyway. You know what? Maybe I am a little bit biased, but to be honest, I don't know. I look at these effects and he seems really mediocre. I don't know. The other stuff in set 2 just seems so much more cooler in my opinion. But I'm not too excited for Shinso. His card, his foundation, 2 diff, 5 check, 3 low block, 2 effects. Response: commit. After your rival discards a card, during the combat phase, draw 1 card. This is pretty interesting. But then also enhance flip. This attack gets -3 speed, +3 damage. Now this could be really good for throws, is what I was thinking. you have order, right? And because you have order, you have access to a wide variety of throw attacks. One of the most popular ones being Midoriya's throw, reverse throw. So if you go ahead and give this -3 speed, you don't really care because it's already only 2 speed. It's most likely probably going to get blocked anyway, because if it does do 5 damage, you get to draw a card. Opponent's not really going to want you to get that, so they're probably going to block and take that 3 damage. But instead now, you can boost this thing up to 8! And then, if they block, they take 4 damage, right? So, I mean, it's still not this much. You still don't get the draw. But it is what it is. I mean, that's pretty interesting. So, I mean, you have ways. You have a ton of throws on order that you can use to give extra +3 speed where you don't really care too much about the damage. But I do wonder what attack he's going to get and how this is going to synergize with it. On top of that as well, in terms of the other effect where discard one of your opponent's cards. Or, sorry, after your opponent discards one of the cards, you get to draw one card. I mean, it's pretty interesting. That makes me think that he's gonna get a card that or an attack that allows them to do that. But right now, the only other attack that came to my mind was Reciprocal Acceleration Kick. It's a combo enhance. Your rival discards one random card from their one random card and then draws one card. This is under the order as well as void, both symbols that Shinso does have. So you can go ahead and use this. Your rival discards one random card, draws a card, then this procs. After your rival discards a card, you draw a card, right? So, I mean, it's interesting stuff, right? That was one thing that I thought of, and then because he's on order. But then the other thing that I thought of as well is obviously on order, you have access to this Zero package. And the Zero package obviously is going to give you things where you can change your zones like Tape Swing, and things like that. So you can call the zone, get that +2 speed for the rest of the combat phase, continue to change the zone with Tape Swing, get this really big, it'll be really fast, so that's interesting. You have the other cards where you can change the zones. If you change the zone of the attack, you can go ahead and change the zone that you call with Shinso. So I thought that interaction could be potentially pretty cool. And then lastly on Void, of course, you have access to a lot of really strong cards, but the glaring one that's obvious that I think everybody's seen is probably this one, Hardened Chop. If this attack is blocked, your rival discards one card. You combo that with Unexpected Hero. You minus it 3 speed. So Hardened Chop is already 4 speed low. So it'd basically be a 0 speed low, but then it's going to be 8 damage. If your opponent blocks it, then they're losing 2 cards, as Hardened Chop beautifully is. That's just how this card is, because they don't want to take 8 damage to the face. Maybe you have other pumps too to pump it up. So maybe it's even stronger than that, but it's probably 8 damage. It's going towards your opponent's face. They're like, I'm going to block this because it's a 0 low. I can block it with literally anything and get it to be successful. But then they also have to discard a card. So there's that. And I think that he could be pretty interesting on that. So, I don't know. For me, I feel like Void would probably be the symbol I'll play him on, just because, I don't know, Order, the Zero package doesn't really write anything home about. For me, at least. Especially with only 19 health. One other thing that I actually just thought of off the top of my head is he can give +2 speed, right? So because he can give +2 speed, you have access to heroic lineage, right? So that makes things interesting. Because you have access to heroic lineage, you can also get an extra +2 damage. You can play this. It's also good defensively, only having 19 health. Being able to -3 speed, allow you to block a little bit easier is nice. And again, that's on the Void and Order symbol. So yeah, I mean, he has potential, right? Like, I don't think he's gonna be bad. I don't know, I just don't think he's gonna be OP. Like, so far, if you guys ask me what I think is gonna be OP, I think Mineta's gonna be really fun. I actually have a deck built already. I'm excited to see the rest of his support, but I have a Mineta deck already built that I want to do a deck profile, and I actually am hoping to do a collab in the future to maybe kind of get it edited, but more on that later. But yeah, so there's Mineta. I also think Todoroki is gonna be pretty nuts, and I think Bakugo has a lot of potential. So those 3. Deku probably will be really good too. I don't know. Set 2 looks like it has a lot of good things. And because of that, Shinso for me, I see all those good things. And I feel like this just falls off a little bit. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm very curious. What do you think about Shinso? Let me know. And I will catch you guys on the next preview. Peace.